Hello and welcome back to Primo Couch Show. Here we are going to be looking at match day 22 of the Serie A. I am Michael again here with Anthony. How you doing?
Oh man, every week is better than the week before. It just keeps getting better and better.
Yes, Serie A. It's one wild ride right now. Theme for this weekend, I think the top teams kind of have put their stake in the ground, like they're
Yeah,
going to be here. These are going to be the 2.5, I'll call it, teams because I think Napoli and Inter are the teams with Atalanta as like a point 0.5 shot at it. They really
yeah,
aren't fully in it. And then everybody else is just battling for top four or for Europe, and that's it.
agreed. Yep.
It's which has actually been quite exciting, and not a lot of teams have been capitalizing. Whereas this week we will see one or two teams actually capitalize on some of that.
I will say, since the
Um,
beginning of the season, was there really any doubt that it would at the very least be Inter versus Napoli?
I did not have any doubt. The only team that I thought could be a surprise if they got their shit straight was Juve. And
Yeah,
honestly, if you look at how many draws they've had losing from winning positions, they would be right in it if they even had half of those. But
exactly.
They
Yeah.
they've been like caught up. So I mean, Juve was the only team. If they just had a little bit better D, and I mean, Bremer did go down. That may have been all you needed to just prevent one more goal per game.
I
So
disagree with that, but that's a deeper dive. Yeah, yeah,
it may not have been enough,
yeah,
but
yeah.
still, a
I,
a little bit more, and Juve would be there. But they're definitely not good enough right now.
yeah,
All right.
that's no doubt.
Let me look at my list to see where we start. So the first on the list is Torino versus Cagliari.
Yeah,
Torino takes it 2-0. Both goals from Shea Adams, who's been having a pretty good time in Serie A so far.
Torino has been taken. They're a tough team. They're strong. Um, they just lack some finishing quality sometimes, and they had it today, so it was good.
Yeah.
You know,
They're a decent team overall. I mean,
yeah,
they're exactly where they should be. They're 10th in the table. They're exactly a mid-table team. They could surprise some big teams with stealing a win or a draw, but they're exactly where they should be.
yeah, I agree.
They're what you
Yeah,
expect, and Cagliari is not good this year, so I would expect Torino to beat them.
yeah, I agree.
Next up, we come to one of the teams in the top races, Atalanta versus Como. Como has been doing much better of late. They've actually been
Yeah,
starting to pull out some wins, whereas a couple months ago they would have been losses. And they looked good until Atalanta kind of came through. So 2-1.
Retegui, baby, Retegui.
He's back.
He's
He's back,
back.
and he's very, very necessary. So
Yeah,
you're seeing the best player on Como, and I think the second best player on Atalanta. I think that's but goal scoring is different. I think Lookman's their best player, but
you think
Nico
so?
Paz for Como. Yeah, Lookman is just. I mean, Retegi's the best goal scorer, of course, but player who makes ton of stuff happen no matter what,
Yeah,
even if he's out of the game, is always Lookman.
yeah. Lookman's clutch
Um,
as fuck too. He comes through. That's a big factor for me. Clutchness. He comes through when the games matter the most.
always,
Yeah,
always. I mean,
yeah.
Retegi. He's showing that he's a really good Serie A striker, and I think he's a good striker in general. But
He
his
is.
style of play fits this league because he's smarter. He's not some super fast guy. He's not super strong, but he's got a great brain and he's got quality finishing. That's always going to do well in
I
Serie
love
A.
it, man. I love he is also athletic and he knows how to put himself in the right positions. The
Yep.
second he came to the national team, he started making a difference. That's a big deal, man. He's still a young kid, or at least was when he first came to the national team. To walk on a team like that, where you know there's a lot of pressure, where the past
Yeah,
couple guys
especially
in
they
front of
haven't
you
had a striker in
failed.
forever.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
got a couple failures in front of you. Like he comes in, he starts putting in goals. I like this kid, man. I do.
No, Retegi's very good, and I think that it's a very easy choice right now that your two strikers on the national team are for
Oh,
the
Keenan
are going to
Retegui.
be Retegi and Keane, and
Yeah,
that's it. And they're
easy done.
very different, which is fantastic. They can play together or alone. I love it.
Yeah,
So it's starting to sort itself out. But yeah, great work from Atalanta. They needed this win as well because they've been stumbling a little bit of late. It was also good to see just how good Nico Paz actually is.
yeah.
So kid's good. Kid's very good. All right.
Game of the season so far
Game of the
for
season
me.
so far for.
Yeah,
Oh, you mean what's coming next?
yeah. The next game.
Oh yeah, Napoli, Juve, massive game
Yeah,
here. I thought that this could be a surprise, but I think I did predict either a tie or Napoli to just very edge it out. It
I
was
think
looking
you.
that way until Napoli's quality came through.
Yeah, I think you predicted a Napoli edging. Yeah, I thought I said it 1-1, but it was even in the first half. I could tell as a Juve guy, I'm like this. They're not holding on to this. It was a scrappy, messy goal, and that's fine, you know.
Yeah,
but there
Scrappy
was
Messi
just
goal, good turn from Colomwani, who that was
yeah,
a nice shot. But I mean, I
yeah.
didn't get like the announcers or at least the commentators were kind of raging about, oh look at
Oh,
Juve, they're really taking some like guys, they're not playing that
they
great. I
no,
don't know.
no. It's let's okay. This is a small podcast, and we didn't do this so that we could build. We would love to build naturally, but we're not here to fluff anybody or suck anyone off to get ahead. The announcers are always really really bad. The panel in between matches is always really really bad. The
Yeah, every once in a while
announcer,
they come with like a good nugget, but yeah, for the most
yeah,
part, like
it's
I disagree with a lot of
I
it.
couldn't care less about being honest about these people. The announcers just drive me freaking crazy. They're terrible. They're worse than British announcers, truly. And so I wish there was a way to just turn them off and still hear the sound of the crowd. But after the
Yeah,
first
they
half,
were just foaming over it. I mean,
yeah,
and yes, it was a nice turn from Colomwani, but they're like, oh my God, this is the 100 million, euro. He used to be worth that much. Like, okay, like
Juan
I
Jesus,
thought he had one good shot and did almost nothing
yeah,
the rest of the game.
he did nothing all game. Juan Jesus bombed his coverage, as I was worried about him doing for a long time since he's been starting over
It's kind of a
the
weird
injured
giveaway too, but he
Buongiorno.
should have been there
Yeah,
regardless.
and that's what I was going to get to. Like, he should have
Still
been there.
unlucky-ish.
Very unlucky giveaway. So Coop Miners was so slow that he couldn't beat what was his face? Who tipped the ball to whatever. The Napoli
I don't
player
remember.
was trying to get rid of it. It like shanked off him and went right to Kolomuani, and
Yeah,
Kolomuani like turned and put it in the net. Good turn, good way to finish.
yeah,
Um,
classy finish for sure,
yeah,
quality
classy
for
finish.
sure.
You got to put
He's
those
gonna
away.
bring equality. He's gonna bring equality. He's just not like he's not super
No,
fast. I'm not sure. Like I
he's
don't
a
know.
French Abraham.
He'll be fine.
I really believe that. Like he did. You can see throughout the course of the game that it's a much bigger problem than just picking a new striker. He did nothing after that. He didn't. He got one
Yeah,
touch in the second half.
yeah.
One.
Juve's guys are not getting the right
Yeah.
service. Like I guarantee, as we always say, you put Vlahovic on a team where he's gonna just get loads of service. He's gonna
Yeah.
just crush it.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's not that everyone's looking for a scapegoat because Juventus has been in a shitty spot for a long time, and everyone always thinks
Yeah,
it's
the next
always
name
the
on the list is
players.
Vlahovic. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, it's always the players. It's always like, oh, this guy, it's Chiesa, he's a loser. Vlahovic, he's a loser. Everyone's always a loser,
And
and
then
they
the
go
problem's
someone
the
else.
same.
Yeah, yeah, and the coach is a loser. It's like no, it's a bigger problem than that,
It
and I think
always
we went
starts from the
into it.
top.
It does.
Always. It's
We
the
went
same.
into that on the Juve breakdown. You need to
Yeah,
listen
we
to
won't
that.
delve into it too much right now.
Yeah, but
So
all the problems we talked about in that video were prevalent today. So it goes into the halftime, 1-0 Juventus up with that Colomuani goal. Pretty even game. No team I really had good chances either
yet
way.
again, Juventus is ahead.
Yes, but it was a good game, scrappy, a lot of intensity, a lot
Yeah.
of fight. Um, there's bright spots and bad spots on each team. Zambo Anguissa's not having his best game. Coop Miners is, basically Juventus is playing with 10 men whenever he's on the field. But it's like kind of evening itself out. Then they go to the locker room, they come back out. What happens?
Napoli
Major,
dominated beyond there, man.
yeah, major.
It really wasn't like Juve was not in the match after that. They really weren't.
It's when it's time for the men, for the boys to become men and the someone to step up. The entire second half was completely dominated by Napoli,
Yeah,
dominating
Napoli looked
possession,
fantastic.
winning every
Their
battle for the
guys were
ball.
fighters. I mean, you could see this is a Conte team. You could definitely see all the fight from everybody, from Di
Yeah,
Lorenzo, from McTominay, from Lukaku, from Conte, from Neres. You could see everybody was fighting. By
from
the way, that
Simeone.
was a hell of a pass from Politano.
Oh yeah, dude.
Like that was so delicate after all that
Yeah,
hard work.
dude.
And then there's a great like towering header from Samuel Gisa, who's been playing fantastic the past like 10
Yeah.
games. But
Uh-huh.
no, the thing that we called each other after the match, and the thing that really was like kind of jacked me up was seeing Simeone, who played for like 5 minutes, on the ground, seal diving to just block a clearance from
Yeah.
Juve's zone. It wasn't even like he was blocking a shot that was gonna be a goal. He was in their opponent's zone. That's how
Amazing.
much these guys care. In my opinion, if they make it through, as we were saying, they make it through February and relatively unscathed, Napoli's got the Scudetto.
Yeah, I agree.
With that much belief, they're not going to lose
Dude,
it.
Politano and Di Lorenzo are battling with Bengula on the sideline, it's a really good fucking battle, and Politano ends up kicking it out of bounds. He starts fucking pumping and getting a high five from Di Lorenzo.
Yeah,
It
dude, the whole team wants it. They all have a
man,
role. I mean, when you can get your substitutes like Simeone that fired up to play their small role, that's a really good sign that the locker room is very united. There's no drama. It is what it is. And I don't know.
everywhere this guy goes, man, everywhere. And I think I said it to the Napoli guys on Access, like, I'm really glad that you get to experience a team coached by Conte, because it was my favorite time we've ever had. I'm 40 years old. As a fan of Juventus, my favorite time by far was when Conte coached our team. You cannot ask for a team to play harder, more dedicated, more together than when he's
it's
your coach.
everything a fan wants, man. I mean,
Yeah,
like there are some fans who just want some weird, silky stuff. Well, that's fine. Go to a different league.
yeah,
But like, if you actually just want like the thing that binds you with the team, in my opinion, is heart. And
yeah.
stuff like that. Like
Passion,
when you're watching it as a fan, like the soul of the team, so to say.
grinta, passion.
And you're not gonna find many coaches who bring it more than Conte does. So
No way, dude. I mean that. I mean, I'm a Juve fan. I've always loved Napoli too, but I'm a Juve fan first and foremost. And Conte is my absolutely my favorite coach. It was impossible to not be rooting for Napoli that whole time. I mean, just the way they play, what they represent, what Conte's doing with that team, the whole second half, seeing fucking Scott McTominay, Labaka's class, Zombo killing it. Fucking everyone gives Politano such so much shit. He was fantastic the
yeah,
whole time. I mean,
no, the whole
man,
team was good.
Spinazzola, awesome.
Whole team's good, and I think that they reinforced properly. Once
Yeah,
again, though, Locatelli does it. He was having
yeah.
I thought, a pretty fine game again. It wasn't like as great as he played the game prior, but he was
He was
playing
still one
well.
of our best
And
players.
then,
Yeah,
of course, he sometimes every couple games he's due for one huge error, just like against Milan in the Supercopa, where he decides to tackle Pulisic in no threatening, not even threatening area. Does the same thing.
yeah.
It's like he's got to stop slide tackling in the box. Like he
Well,
just needs to shut that out of his game,
this one,
unless it's a for sure goal.
so you're absolutely right. This one was a totally different scenario than the Super Copa one. The Super Copa one was ridiculous, totally out of line.
Yeah, yeah.
This one,
This one was not as
what
bad,
was
but
he
it's still
like?
dumb.
Where were our center backs?
Oh no, I know, but that
Like,
that was the
what were they
strategy though.
doing?
The strategy was Locatelli dips back into center back. A lot of people have been talking about before the match. Said his technique or his tactics, Mota's tactics for this one was Loca is going to drop back into center back every time that Napoli has the ball.
Yeah,
So he
well,
was actually playing as another center back, which I think is very dumb.
it was, of course it was dumb.
Just play D mid. Just shield the
No,
defense. That's
no,
your
no, no,
job.
no. So I'll give this to Moto. Okay, Moto's tactics were on point to start the game. It is very hard to overcome class. It's very hard to overcome manliness. Those are two things we don't have. Scott McTominay is not a amazing player. He's a fucking winner, and he busts his ass. Same with Zombo. Even Labaka. Labaka's silky. He's classy, but like, dude, he's out there to work.
Yeah, the whole team has grinta.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
the whole team has grit, and like we just did not have any of that. So we, whatever the tactics are, it's irrelevant when you're losing every physical battle, when you're losing every loose ball, when
Yeah,
you're
and that's
losing
exactly what
all your
started to
aerial
happen.
duels.
One team wanted it more, and they started
Yeah,
to pull away significantly. But
absolutely. So like, yeah, it was a dumbass move by Locatelli, no doubt about it. But why was he there? He shouldn't have been. I mean, that's not. I don't think the strategy was him to be alone in the box by himself covering
no,
fucking McTominay and
it's not to
whatever.
be alone.
Yeah,
It's poor defending regardless. But I mean, like
bad
he just has
defending.
to
Bad
cut
defending.
out. He has to cut out the
Yeah.
in the box slide tackling because it never goes well.
Yes. Yeah.
But
Well, no, the problem was he was doing pretty well with it at the beginning of the year, but it's not a
he was doing
sustainable
pretty well
strat.
with there
Yeah.
for most of the game, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
it just takes one, right?
Yeah,
But
it's about choices, and he made a bad one again. And this is just why I like Locatelli. He's a good player. He's solid. He's a
he's
nice
a great
guy.
soldier, man.
Yeah. He's yeah.
He loves the team. He's great for the locker room.
I
Like I
hope we keep
think
him.
he's
Yeah.
fine.
I hope we keep him forever. He's a real good team guy.
Yep.
He is the fact that he's been one of our best players all season will tell you everything you need to know about this Juventus.
Yep. Yeah, I
Locatelli
mean
and
he
Gatti.
should be like how like I always thought my favorite Milan team was the team that I saw the first was like that like '06 style team with like
Gattuso,
Kaká,
Pirlo,
Gattuso, Pirlo,
Seedorf.
Mancini.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gattuso, Pirlo, Mancini. your Locatelli should be like the Ambrosini of that team.
Exactly.
He's very good. He plays a role, but he's not your Pirlo. He's not your Kaká. He's not your Maldini. He's like just a really good, solid soldier who's just awesome when he needs to be and plays a role.
That's exactly what he is.
Instead, he's having to play like this. Like I'm gonna be one of the best two players on the field at every game for Juve.
He's
That's
he's
not that's not what you should have.
he's
He
not.
shouldn't be at that level. You know what I mean? He shouldn't
No.
be having to be at that level for Juve. But
No,
either
and
way,
it's funny. I think before the game too, that moron Cassano, I guess he's got a podcast, and he was talking about how Locatelli's the best defensive midfielder or the
yeah,
best center midfielder.
Casano's wild, man. He says like 10 things that are awful, and then one thing that's right. That's how he
Well,
does it.
was he ever like? Did you ever regard him as a really smart guy?
No, dude,
No,
Casano is a wild. It would be like
he's a
taking advice
failure as a player.
from like Mario Balotelli.
Yeah,
'Cause they're both
exactly.
wild
I
cats.
loved Cassano. I thought he was like just some psycho talent.
Yeah, the talent that
Yeah,
never was
the
because
talent
his
that never
mind wasn't
was.
right.
Yeah,
Same with
exactly.
Balotelli, man.
Yeah,
Same with Balotelli.
he was a head case. Like, just shut up. Okay, I know that's entertaining. That's what people want now is they want bold opinions. Like, case in point with the Paramount Plus panel. But it's like, come on, dude, you're not making any sense here.
Yeah,
He's a
I
solid, good
wouldn't take
guy,
his
nice
opinion
player.
as any like,
Yeah.
oh man, I should live by
I
these
just
words.
thought it was funny as this idiot was going off before the game. I'm like, just shut up, dude. I gotta listen to this. I gotta see these things on my popping up on my X.
Yep.
But no, it was an awesome game, and hey man, like I said, I'm a Juve fan. I didn't mind it at all. Juve's not fighting for anything, and Napoli's fighting for everything. And one
Yep.
my favorite coach, who's built a fucking awesome team in his image, is trying to slay the beast that he created again. Can you imagine if he could take down Inter after he did this to Juventus? I mean, it was a bigger deal taking on Juve off 9 straight titles, but like, hey, it's not.
Well, we'll see what they do. They got
Oh
a
God, I
couple
hope they
games
do it.
coming up. They've got Roma, Udinese, Lazio,
They
and
do.
I don't know. There's a couple more coming
Roma's
up.
a big
and
one
then,
next week because they've had two big matches back to back, and now you got Roma, who's not ranked
Yep.
high, but they're an amazing team.
Yeah,
Roma's-
the last one of their like tough run, I believe, is Fiorentina, and that's going to be right after Inter. That's at the beginning of March. They got about six tougher weeks right now, and then it should be not. I wouldn't say smooth sailing, but I mean,
Serie
they
A's,
still have hard games, but it's pretty rough.
Serie A's fucking fierce right now.
Let's move forward to the next one. Empoli Bologna.
Oh.
This team just cannot put a string of
They
games
can't.
together to actually like make a difference. And they're basically like the challenge for top four, top five
Yeah.
with Milan, Fiorentina, and Juve and Lazio. Those five teams are battling, and they all stumble so much here. Bologna really should have been able to take down Empoli if they want that spot, and they couldn't do it.
What's the deal with? I sound like Jerry Seinfeld. What's the deal with Serie A teams this year? It's like no one can fucking win when they have to, and everyone just
This is how I thought the whole season was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be a huge battle between like everybody,
yeah.
and I didn't actually expect there to be like. I thought the top would be a little bit more of a battle too. Everybody just beating each other up, but some teams kind of like I think Juve and Milan kind of shat the bed this season, which makes it a lot different. But now they're in the whole mix for this. But yet nobody is able to really capitalize weeks in a row and climb the table.
Well,
And Bologna just proved that.
it is a battle, but it's almost like everyone's only punching themselves. No one's punching each other.
Yeah.
It's like somehow, like every week, Juventus ties some shitty team, and I'm going, oh, there we go. We're going to be down 8th place now. But then all the other teams draw too. I'm like, oh, okay, we're
Mhm.
right where we left off. Okay, sweet. We didn't actually lose anything. Cool. Like somehow Bologna draws Empoli after Juventus loses to Napoli, and they're still
Yeah.
behind us in the table. I'm like, all right, hey, whatever. If you guys don't want it, we'll take it. You know, it's I don't know, and I like Italiano as a coach. I think he's a good coach. But there's two coaches in Serie A that have been good coaches for a long time that I would never ever want to see at a big club. One of them's Italiano, and one of them's Gasparini, and for the same exact reason, they can't lock down defense. Like, it's only a 1-1 game. I can see us slipping up, and Bologna's done pretty well at like getting goals back. But man, sometimes you just got to win those 1-0 scrappy games, my man. Sometimes you just can't let those goals.
Yeah,
go in.
or your team has to come through with like a late win or something like that. I mean, just like Napoli did, just like Milan did. But like, I guess we'll actually move right into Milan next. So the opposite of Bologna, not really, but I mean, they've also been stumbling a lot when they should be picking up points. They'll tie a team or lose a team when everybody else ties, and they should make up ground. This was the only week that they've really done that in recent weeks. Milan usually everybody else was doing stuff. So
Yeah.
Atalanta won, of course, but Bologna tied. And that was a big result for because Milan is trying to catch them, and of course
Yes.
Fiorentina and Lazio are playing each other, so they're going to be picking up points. They should be beating Parma. Instead, they basically should have lost. Besides Parma making some bigger mistakes and some class plays
I mean,
from once again Pulisic and Reinders,
yep.
same people over and over again. So it's really like the usual suspects nonstop, and they come out with a huge win on top. It's the Conceição effect. It's Pulisic. It's the same stuff over and over again.
Having Pulisic for this game was a big difference. After
He's always the big
stinking it
difference,
up
man.
against Juventus, it was very clear that you needed that like guy who's just solid. There was no solid, there was no reference point in the Juve game, and against a team like Parma, when they were playing like shit, it's like you could always get the ball to Pulisic, you do something good with
No, he's always he's 100% from the spot as well. He's we're working with the whole game, but if you look at just Milan in general, they're just a mess. I mean, they haven't really played well in most games. There's a couple games they've played well, like in the Champions League, but in Serie A, they've barely had a good game. They don't look any different under Conceição than they did under Fonseca or under Pioli. They still have had so many late winners or like random things where like Okafor will come on, like maybe not this season, but he'll come on and get like a random like late winning goal, and then Milan pulls off some like dramatic late game winner. It's the weirdest thing, and that's so it's the same team over and over, and coach really doesn't even matter. Even under Fonseca, even under Pioli, same shit was happening. They play crappy, they randomly squeak out a win, or they let you down and they tire or lose. Milan's not playing well. Now I don't know because we still had Conceição needs to get a couple of his guys in, so I can't even really judge him yet. I do see some character, which is nice, but I can't fully even judge the guy yet until I see a couple of his people coming in. So I see, all right, this is his team because there's not even a single piece that they brought in for him yet. I mean,
I
Kyle Walker is not like, oh my god, this can change the game. We don't see
no.
anybody of what he wants in yet. So it's
I
early.
I question if you're ever going to see what he wants, but one thing I'll
Yeah,
say
with
is
the
like
management.
I always say Juventus is 1 to 2 years behind Milan, and this is exactly what you can expect out of a team that's comprised of foreign mercenaries. And it's what was it, one title in the past 10 years for Milan? I mean, they
Yep.
got to be better
And I
than
mean, it
that.
came off of like I would say it was like a lightning in the bottle season where like Maldini was back at the club. He signed Hernandez and Mañana and Leao, and they were all having like remarkable seasons. So I mean, like it was had Tonali, Kessie, Benacer, which was a top class midfield. It all struck at the right time. Now that core is gone, and Milan's doing their thing differently. So yeah, it's lightning in the bottle season.
Yeah, I mean, what do you expect? Like who? There's no culture there. Every week, it's like a bunch of guys who make a ton of money that are just there because they were bought. Like,
No,
how do you
there's
motivate
nobody
that
who's
group?
been like if you take out Calabria, and we'll talk about the kind of mix up that they had. If you
Yeah, in
take
the
out
second,
Calabria, next guy who's been there a long time is Gabi because he was growing up in the youth system,
he's been
and then
solid.
then it's Magnan and Leao.
Yeah.
Like
Did you see what
or not
Conceição
Magnan, I
said after
mean
the last match?
Hernandez, Leao, and Magnan. Like those are the next people who've been there the longest. Like with like that whole season. That's not that long ago.
Did you see that Conceição quote after the Juve game? He said, "I've never been a coach of a team with less character."
Oh, I mean
Yeah.
it all makes sense. I mean it's of course
Yeah.
they're
He didn't mean for
most
that
of
to
the people
get
on this
leaked
team
out. That was like
don't
a
fight.
leaked quote. So that wasn't like something he was just like being pissy in the press or something like that. Like that's like something that got leaked
Was
out, I
it?
guess. Yeah.
I didn't know. I thought that was like I thought he. I don't know if
No,
he
he
said in
said
the
he was
press or
like
not,
saying
but
like yes, it was like a text message or something. I don't know. I was something I saw on X, but
yeah, I'm not sure as
yeah.
far as that part goes. But yeah, I
Regardless, he's
mean,
totally spot on. Yeah, like
I believe it. But
yeah,
Fonseca was basically bitching about the same
yeah.
stuff. I mean, like
Fonseca
nobody who
wasn't
coaches
wrong.
this team. Yeah, exactly. Like the only guy who had a good handle on it was Pioli. Everybody respected him. He kept everything was super calm for
Yeah,
some. But I mean,
he
that was
kept
their
it out of the
first time with any
mainstream,
success.
but they still didn't like. They won a Scudetto, but it took them how long to do it? And I don't know. I think a Milan team,
It didn't
especially in
take
that
him too
era,
long with
3 years.
Pioli, but the difference was, yeah. But I mean, like Pioli's not some like legendary coach. He righted the ship, he studied it, and then it was like 2.5 seasons because he came in. But I mean, immediately they started playing better. But that was their first time with success was under Pioli, so of course they're going to respect the guy more. And then he goes, it's like the end of an era for them,
Yeah, that's true.
and now it's totally different. I guess there's not much more to say about the game besides the usual suspects have shown up. again. And I think that Suzuki had just an awful game. He
Yeah,
what I don't know what that push was. That was like, why would you even do that? And
yeah.
then really
It
bad
was.
goalkeeping on the game winner.
I have a big problem with people falling down over pushes like that. You know damn well that that wouldn't actually push you down. But it's
What are you
soccer,
doing
it's
though?
football, it's culture. Why are you doing that, man? You know that guy's gonna eat dirt. If you
Hmm.
make any sort of contact, if you look at him the wrong way, he's gonna fall on the ground and grab his ankle. Like, why would you do that?
Yeah, and
It's
like
just
it
stupid.
wasn't even just like he was resting his hand. He actually did
Yeah,
like a push. Like why would you? I don't know. It's just dumb.
it
And
was
then
super
his
dumb.
goalkeeping was really bad. He overcommitted on the last goal for the
Yeah,
winner. So thank you Suzuki for that one. And then Pavlovic has been playing well. I thought he had one mistake in the game that could have led to a goal, but that's how he is.
he did all
He's
right.
got a lot of heart, a lot of grit. People have been giving him some flack. I think you must play that guy in a three-man back line. You're gonna get the
I
best out of him, and you're gonna eliminate like a lot of the errors in a central position.
I like that Conceição is experimenting with lineups. This is what you should do. He is not a system guy, surely. I believe that at the end of the season, we will truly see where Milan's head's at. When you hire a guy like Conceição, you need to build a team around him and his image. If the
Yeah,
directors of
you
Milan
need fighters. You
want
need
to keep
fighters.
playing Moneyball, Conceição is going to shit fire and go
No,
nuts,
it's
and he
not gonna go
should.
well.
It's
Yeah,
not. I think there's
he's
gonna be a
not gonna
problem.
hold his tongue. I think that's actually why they didn't sign him in the summer. Which most of the Milan fan base wanted Conte,
Oh,
Conceição, or Mota
Conte's worse than
some
Conceição with that.
or like De Zerbe. Nobody wanted Fonseca. He was a name out of left field, but we knew he'd just keep the peace. And honestly, he didn't really keep the peace. Like I think this is a very hard team to coach because you got prima donnas everywhere, and you got Reberta as your managers who barely give you any actual support.
I
So
totally agree. Yeah,
it's difficult.
it's really
Let's
sad. I
round
think.
out with the. Oh,
Yeah.
go ahead. Go
Well,
ahead.
I think after last week, it really summarizes where our teams are. Um, there was a lot of analysis and a lot of hype and a lot of talk about the Milan Juve game. Like, oh, what an amazing game! Blah blah blah. That wasn't a good game. It's the fifth and eighth place teams doing battle.
Yep.
I
But
kind
they
of give
will
a
benefit from
crap
all the
about
other
that
teams
game.
beating themselves up. So I still
Well, they're
think
still in fifth and eighth
that
place
both of
somehow.
those teams probably are going to qualify. I think it's
Dude,
going to happen.
Michael, our teams are fifth and eighth place still,
Fifth and
and
seventh place
fifth and
now.
seventh. Hey, whoa! And all the Serie A has been is a bunch of teams that can't win games and can't take points. How the hell
I
are our
know.
teams this low? As shitty as and
I
fallen
mean,
and
whoever
just
wins the next
come
game
on,
between Milan and Bologna, if they win that game, one team wins it, they move up to tied with Juve in fifth. Like
yep,
it's a battle. It's an all-out battle.
man. Some of these teams have to actually win some matches. That's all I'll say.
Yeah,
Coming down,
I think it's going to be those two. There's a
yeah.
top five. I do think both are going to slide in. I don't think that like the Cinderella stories of like Bologna and Fiorentina are going to last. I think it's going to be Lazio, or I think Lazio is going to have to duke it out with Milan and
Well,
Juve for those
we'll get
last
into
spots.
Fiorentina and Lazio, but those are two teams once again that
Yep.
I guess exactly what we're talking
Let's
about.
round out with the bust up. So the last thing to talk about the game is the bust up at the end with Calabria and Conceição.
Yeah, yeah.
There's been a lot of rumors about like what caused it, what didn't cause it. The most kind of recent one that seems to have the most weight is that Conceição was pissed about Calabria going out with like a couple of the buddies from the team like 2 nights ago, right? Before the match. And honestly, it's okay. He should be kind of pissed about that because he's trying to drive like a pretty hard ship. I don't know exactly what was said, but I mean, Calabria might be a little more of like a team poison than what we think. I mean, I know from a couple people that who've met him in person say he's kind of a not the nicest of figures and kind of talks down a lot of people in public. So I mean, who knows? Maybe that's just a bad sign of a person, anyways. Not a class act. But also on Conceição, I don't like seeing. I do like that a coach is tough and hardcore, but I just it looked a little bit immature and like they both had a case of small man syndrome, like Calabria and him, just battling it out like that. Like keep that shit in the locker room. You do whatever the hell you gotta do there. I didn't like um, I didn't like seeing that on the actual field. It seemed very childish from both of them.
Totally
I
agree.
kind of side a dash more with Conceição than I do, but I don't know the full story. So I'm a little more on his side than I am with, for Calabria's. But I don't know the full story yet. I don't think anybody does. But no matter what, keep that shit in the locker room. I mean, you can be as aggressive as you want, but keep that shit somewhere else.
we
Keep
don't
it
need
off the
to
field.
we don't need to know the whole story. Okay, here's the bottom line. You got a player who's probably a bitch. You got a coach who's very emotional and high strung. It's really the coach's issue where he needs to not make that a thing. He shouldn't be
Yeah.
seeking out players to choose to like that's very immature behavior. And this is why I don't like, oh, he's emotional, he's tough. He's like Conte. Like, no, come on. Like he's his own person. This was his choice to behave like that. I don't like that. That's not something you should do. But at the end of the day, boys will be boys. I think it's being blown a little bit out of proportion.
Yep. Agreed.
But I just wanted to settle that there. I don't think that Calabia's probably a douche. I mean, most of these guys are. Let's be honest. Conceição, way too emotional. Got to handle it a little more professional, my man. Come on now. That's it.
Yeah, I kind of agree on both fronts. I mean, like it's yes, there's passions going. It is what it is, but hopefully they just put it back and it's a new day and
Oh,
who
there's
really gives a shit.
passions.
But
So many passions.
there may be passions. Hopefully it doesn't go the wrong way. If you know what I mean. All right, let's go into the next match. Roma Udinese. Roma has pulled off a win
Without Dybala.
without Dybala.
Yeah.
I mean, he played, but he
Yeah.
wasn't starting.
Yeah, no, it was, well, yeah. It was, Ranieri has done a really good job. I don't think he's as great as everyone thinks he is, but what he's done with Roma, it may be some of his best work.
He's definitely steadied this ship pretty quickly.
Yeah.
They look like a much more stable team. Like they're actually threatening now, and they just look more together. It's not like some drama show like it was a little while
Right.
ago, which is nice. That's all you can ask for.
They have a very good roster. We knew it was a good roster, but like they've been.
Yeah, they're always playing below their
Yeah.
capabilities. Always. It's like nonstop.
What does a great coach do? I think we've talked about this a couple of times. The first thing they do, they come in, lock down the defense, stabilize, stop the goals from leaking in, work together as a team. Defense. This is our home. You don't come into our home and shit on the ground. Boom, defense locked down. Then you build forward from there. It's exactly what he did with Roma. It's why it's working. I'm proud of him. Let's see what he does when he steps down, who he replaces. I suppose he's taking like a role, sporting director role.
Yeah,
We'll
that'd be
see.
cool.
Yeah, we'll see what he brings in. I know that they.
That'd be
I think
cool
they're
for him to
bringing
stay
in
involved at the club.
Sartori. Yeah, but I'm curious to see what they do, and I think they're going to keep chugging along at this clip. I think they're going to keep taking.
They're gonna
care of
do the
these
same
teams.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're gonna win more games than they were. Of course, they're gonna keep climbing a little bit. I don't know if it's gonna be enough because I think they still have their failures. But
Too little,
I
too
agree.
late.
Yeah, this
It's too little, too late.
pace that they can keep, win
But
a couple, draw a couple, rather than just losing nonstop.
Well, I will say Dybala is probably the classiest player in all of Serie A, and that's a huge advantage to have him as your talisman.
Yep.
Like, what a mistake Juventus made. Oh, that guy is fucking so good.
What a mistake a lot of Serie A teams made. He was on the market, and that was like a last minute. All right, I'll go to Roma. Fine.
Well, he still hasn't renewed his contract, so he's still technically available for free. And he had his 15 mil release clause just expired, so bunch of
Yeah, I
dumb
think they're looking
clubs.
at renewing that for another year about it, but who knows? We'll see what happens with it.
Bunch of dumb clubs. 31 years old, talent like that.
Let's move to the next game, which was a total blowout from minute one. Inter versus Lecce, 4-0. That was just domination from start to finish. Lecce had a lot of pointless shots that mattered not, but Inter basically smoked them the whole time. Thuram was good, Dumfries was good, Martinez is back for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And Fratesi had a good game. And there is definitely a good player in there. He just has to be played in a certain way. And he was allowed to do it this time.
2 good points right there. 1, Martinez is back. That's scary. That's scary for someone who's rooting for Napoli to win, right? Martinez being down was a big advantage for the rest of Serie A. Martinez on his game. I mean, you can love him or hate him, whatever. That's all.
One of the best around, man.
Yeah.
One of the best around when he's on his game. That's for sure.
If you don't like Lisandro, that's a total personal thing. The guy's an awesome player, and when he's fucking feeling it like he is right now.
Lautaro, you mean?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Lautaro Martinez. He's feeling it. And he's
Yep.
back, and everyone should.
He's also a clutch player and a big game.
Dude,
player
he's an
too.
awesome player. He's an awesome player. Absolutely.
Yep.
He's back now. Serie A is fucking doomed. Napoli's in trouble.
Yep.
So it's a 2-horse race in my opinion, and Napoli doesn't have they got double the grip, but not half the class of Inter. So it's we're gonna see what wins out in the end of the day. But it was nice seeing Fratesi actually play to his standard. He got to start the game, played,
Well,
put in a
and
great
he did
shift.
what he's good at. Like he made
Yeah,
those late runs into the box and was threatening. Fortezi
yeah.
needs to. He's not a D mid. He's not
Nope.
even like. I mean, he's kind of like a. He's either a CM who can attack or an AM. Like he's not a D mid. Like that's so you
Well,
just stop playing in that role. That's not the player he is. He thrives making late runs into the box. He's very smart with them. He's probably one of the best around at doing it. So let's just let him do it.
well, the problem was when he plays with Inter, he doesn't have like really defensive backup because he's always subbing in for Barella. And what do you
Yep.
got? Çalhanoğlu
And
and
it's not the
Mkhitaryan,
same player as Barella.
who's
Barella
locking
can
him down.
actually
Yeah,
like tackle and stuff. But you can't. You can't sub.
entirely different player. Absolutely.
Yep, he should be subbing in for like Mkhitaryan, and that's it. You should have like Barella, Shahanoglu, and Vertezi. It's fine. That's where he needs to be playing.
I think we said this last time too. Like Inter really lacks a true box to box sub.
Yeah,
And,
and they lack an actual D mid sub. Like they don't have
yeah,
like a lockdown D mid sub. When
and
Shahanoglu goes off, like Aslani is he's not that type of guy right now. So
the class
um
shoulder today, they really they are what yesterday they really took care of business.
in it's really top notch. Now we move into a very important match for the
Huge.
standings: Fiorentina versus Lazio. Fiorentina does pull it off 2-1 with goals from Adli and Beltran, and then a late goal from Maricic for Lazio. But
Yep.
Fiorentina, it was weird. Like Lazio was the more like possession holders, but Fiorentina always just looked a little more deadly, a little more dangerous when they went forward. It was nice to see Fiorentina step up a little bit, and I thought personally in the midfield that Mandragora has been the best complement to Ali that I've seen so far. Obviously, he's got his guy. He's Ali. He doesn't really get touched. He's always there. It's whoever rotates. I thought Mandragora did a better job than I think Cataldi's there, right? I think he did
Yeah.
a better job than Cataldi.
Couldn't agree more. 100%. I think Adli and Cataldi are very similar player. Cataldi is a little bit better defensively. Adli is much better offensively. So it's a no-brainer to me. You start Adli over Cataldi. As far as please next one, we always said we need some guy who's a ball winner. Mandragora, he hasn't played a lot this season. So the couple he played last game, he was kind of getting warmed up. He played a really good game, but they also had a big advantage. I don't know what Baroni was thinking in a match like this to not start Rovella. It was a night and day difference from when Ravella
Yeah, you
was
see when he
off the
came on the
field.
field.
When he came on the
Yep,
field, the whole game changed.
yep.
He is their best player. You need he is literally the focal point of the entire team. Why would they
This is such
not
a
start him?
huge game too. I mean, it's literally like your probably most direct rival
Yeah.
for that spot, or at least one of them. Like when you have Lazio, you think, okay, I'm battling with Juve, Fiorentina, Milan, and Bologna.
Yes.
So those are the teams you really need to make sure you bring it
Absolutely start
against.
Ravella.
And you're gonna start Guendouzi and Dele Bashiru. Like
Come on.
what are you doing?
Bashir did nothing. It was a waste of space. And they bring Ravella on night and day difference. Entire team changes. This is exactly what this was
Yeah,
a coaching problem.
he's like Lazio's Dybala. Like there's
Yeah.
two versions of Lazio with and
Yeah.
without him. I've
Hmm.
got one of my buddies is a big Lazio fan, and he thinks the same thing. Like
Yeah.
everything goes through him. So
Yeah.
I thought Folarinho played well as well. I thought
He
Folarinho
did.
played well. I thought Goodmanson is getting close to
He's
being
back.
back.
Yeah.
So Fiorentina, there was some positive signs.
Goodmanson looks like he's
So
back finally. This was the first good game. He's had a rough injury. It's been a couple games now he's played. He came out as a sub a couple times. He started the past
mhm.
two. This game he looked really good.
Yep,
So
and
I'm
I
glad.
was impressed with Folarinho. I thought he had a lot of good work rate effort, both in both
Yep.
phases, going forward and
Hmm.
backtracking.
Yep.
So that's a
I,
good sign from
I'm
Fiorentina.
hoping Fiorentina can get the legs back under him and start playing well again. Let's see.
And they've got Genoa next, who's not an easy team, but they should win that one.
Genoa's a tough team.
Lazio has Cagliari. It's kind of the same thing, right? They
Hmm.
both have a similar team, so let's see like how they do in this next week to see if they can continue on, and we'll see who drops or who
It's
stays.
it's tough for Lazio. They lack depth, and they're doing so well in Europe right now.
Mm.
What choice do you make? Do you want to be back in the Champions League, or do you want to try to push to win Europa?
They could definitely
That's
try to win Europe because I think there's just Chelsea there. There's like Chelsea and one other team who's kind of like a really good
yeah,
team
they can
there.
beat
So Lazio's
Chelsea
got a great shot.
on their
They got a
day. They
great
can
shot
beat
at it
Chelsea on
for
their
sure.
day. Yeah. So I mean, Lazio's starting lineup is really good on their day. I think they can beat anybody. They're feisty. They're tough. They're good. They have just enough class to do it. They can catch someone out and outwork them.
Yeah, their backups.
Yeah.
they can't
Oof.
hack it right now. No,
No. Week in,
they
week
need some
out,
serious depth there.
multiple competitions. I don't think they have the depth for that.
Mm-mm.
And I think this was just a bad choice from Baroni at this stage in the game. I think like for some reason they wanted to play Rovella midweek and not rest him, so they can. But they wanted to rest him in the Serie A battle. I'm like, man, you don't
Yeah,
want
I
to do
know.
that. Yeah,
It might kind of tell you where their head's at, right?
yeah. Oh yeah. I think it does
Like
definitely.
what they want more.
Yeah, I
So,
think they're looking at Europa. But to me, it was like night and day
but you didn't
difference.
even need it because they're already in first place in Europa. Like if
Yeah,
you
they
tie
didn't
or
need
lose
it at
that game,
all.
you're still going to be in the top eight, so you're going to get a free pass. Like I don't know.
I totally agree. They didn't need to do that at all. That was a
Poor
complete waste.
planning,
Yeah.
but we'll see what the next week brings. We go now to Verona and Venezia 1-1. Um, I did not see this game
I
at
didn't. I
all.
was working today. I that game I didn't catch because I was busy. I saw a little bit of Genoa Monza.
Yeah,
I saw. I
it's a
saw.
bottom feeder game,
Yeah.
and Verona stays 4 points ahead of Venezia, which is big because they're basically fighting for the drop zone with a couple people. So
Well, in the Genoa Monza game, here's what I saw. I saw because I watch while I work, so I'm not super invested in it like I am in these weekend games. But I try to keep my eye on Moretti because I'm a Juventus fan, and he's on loan. Moretti looked excellent, and Vieira I think is a very good coach. He
yeah,
does not
he's
give a
come in
shit.
and like right away the team looked better.
Well, and what did we just say? Like good coach, what they do? They steady the defense first, lock it down. First thing he did, lock the defense down. They're starting to get a little more adventurous in attack now. They're doing a couple more things, and of course it was Monza today, so they can do that. But this is what I want to see. This is a sign of a good coach. Lock it down first, build out. Give him a couple years, and I think he's ready for a big team. Don't rush him like you did with Mota into a team where he isn't capable of doing it. Let him make some mistakes first. But what he's doing so far at Genoa, I think Vieira is doing some really good stuff.
Yeah.
I think he's on good coach watch.
Yep. No, he's doing well.
Yeah.
So I say we move into some of the previews
Yeah.
and then call it a day.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. So we have Parma versus
Well, we
Lecce.
got
What is your?
Champions League previews, brother.
Oh, we do.
Yeah, we do.
And all right, let me look
Yeah.
up the matches there. All right, so Champions League. Oh yeah. Okay. So of the Serie A teams,
Yes.
who is playing tomorrow? Atalanta plays tomorrow. They play Barcelona.
Oof.
And who else plays tomorrow? Bologna plays Sporting, but it doesn't even matter what they do. They're out. And then Juve plays Benfica. So three teams from the Serie A are playing. What do you think's gonna happen? Atalanta, Barcelona.
I think Atalanta is going to shock Barcelona with a 3-1 win. I think Barcelona's going to lay an egg.
You think so? I mean, they've been just about perfect. They're only behind Liverpool. They have 18 points versus Liverpool's 21 points.
Now, there's only one way to
Um,
go when you're at the top.
where is it at? Is it at home? And it's away. It's at Barcelona. So I actually don't think Atalanta's gonna pull that off.
Whatever. I'm making a bold prediction. Probably wrong.
I like it. I'm gonna go 2-2 or a 3-2 win for Barcelona. I
Actually,
think
out of
that
all the
Barcelona
teams,
might edge it.
well, they love edging, but out of all the teams in the Champions League that aren't Italian, I like Barcelona the most because I like that they build from within. So, respect to
Yeah.
Barcelona, but I hope Atalanta beat them. So,
Next is going to be Juve versus Benfica. It is at home, I believe, and Juve is right now sitting in 17th place. They
we're 17th.
Yep, but it's fine because all you got to be is top 24 because of the new rules, and they actually cannot be caught because
Everyone gets a trophy.
even if the 25th place team wins, that gives them 11 points. So Juve doesn't matter what they do, they could sneak into top 8. It's possible if they win and a bunch of teams lose, which gives you like a free pass to the next round. But they don't need to, so it really doesn't matter too much for Juve. I think the Serie A is more important. So I actually would kind of not maybe run your best players in this game, give some people a chance to play, and then save it for Serie A next week. If I was
totally
Juve,
agree. Well, hot take in general. I don't think you build teams for the Champions League. I don't think you chase Champions League trophies. I think when you're a really great domestic team, you'll do well in the Champions League, and I think that's just always how it's been. There's only one team on planet Earth that can literally function as a fully prostitute den, and that's Real Madrid. I don't know how they do it, but they can literally bring in the top couple players in the world every year, spend $1 gazillion and they're in the mix.
Yeah, even if
Every
the team
other
is like totally
team,
like disjointed, they always like somehow in like
yeah,
late stage of the Champions League they just pull together.
they're still Real Madrid. It's a whorehouse, and they've always been,
Lots
and
of
they make it
DNA
work.
there.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, the DNA all over their face, and they're able to make it in. Regular teams like Juventus, honestly, just bench all your fucking starters, rest them up. I'm
Let
sick of like Thiago Moto's
let
making
some
all
kids
kinds of
play.
excuses after the Napoli. Oh, we're tired. Well, okay, well then if you're so tired, why'd you start your kids against a shit team last week? Bruges, you couldn't beat Bruges. You chose to start your starters. That was your choice. Well, you got a big week. You need to win every single week in Serie A. We're in fifth place and we're under threat from all angles. You need to start your best guys. If you don't qualify for Champions League, there's a risk that you have to sell half your team. I wouldn't care because I don't like half the team, but you obviously this for this project you need to keep it going. Rest your
Yeah.
guys. Rest your guys. Finish 23rd.
Yeah,
Who
they must
cares?
qualify for Champions League. They're
Yeah,
not winning the Champions League, so yes,
yeah.
just get in. Right, you're already
Get
in.
in.
You're
You're already
probably
in.
not going to get top 8 even if you win. So just
Yeah,
stay in, play your kiddos, save your starters for the next game, and
yeah.
make
Get
sure you come out and win your next Serie A game.
get
That's it.
get, get Pugno out there. I want to see Pugno. Come on, let's go. That's the match to play
Who's
Pugno.
next? We got so Atalanta went to Juve, Bologna versus Sporting. Let me see. Actually, I forgot by the way, because this is
Bologna's
match
gonna
day
win.
8. It says match day 8. It's all the same time. Everybody plays tomorrow because you can't have
Yeah,
certain teams doing this. So I forgot they're actually all playing. Milan's playing and Inter's playing. So let's go to
they're all
Bologna
playing on
next.
Tuesday.
Is there any way? No, Bologna can't make it. Even if they win, they all play tomorrow.
Oh, God, I hate that shit.
No, they. I think it's all on. Is it Wednesday actually that they play on?
Yeah, no, it's Tuesday or Wednesday, right?
Yeah, but I
No,
think
no,
it's
no,
only
no, 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 no.
Wednesday.
Tomorrow, hold on. Tomorrow you got Barcelona Atalanta. Oh, you're right. It's all Wednesday, dude.
Yeah. I think it's
God
all
damn it.
Wednesday, middle of the day. So,
Yeah, it's all.
so it is what it is.
Yeah. Okay.
It is what it
Well,
is.
looks like I'll be
So
watching a lot
Bologna,
of them after the fact, but yeah,
even if Bologna wins, it doesn't matter. They can
doesn't
only
matter.
get to eight points. So I actually think that they probably will win. Let's see. Does Sporting need it? They do need it. Sporting has 10 points. They can get knocked out. So if Sporting loses, they can get knocked out of the Champions League entirely. So maybe Bologna doesn't win this game because Bologna doesn't need it,
I
and
think Bologna.
Sporting really needs it.
Well, and Bologna's been stinking it up in Serie A because they should have won that last game. So maybe Italiano after a big Champions League win midweek last week, that means nothing. Maybe you should have not started some of those guys.
Yeah, I'll go. You know what? Because just seeing where Sporting is at and versus where Bologna is at, and Sporting absolutely needs this.
Yeah,
Uh, and it's at home to Sporting. I think I'm gonna go with a draw,
yeah,
a 2-2 draw. I could maybe see Sporting edging this, but I'm gonna go with a draw. Initially, I would have said Bologna win, but I'm gonna go a draw or a
sure.
possibly Sporting win. Next,
Okay.
Inter Monaco. I think Inter is gonna handle it.
Oh yeah,
I don't think it's gonna be great though. Inter has not looked like remarkable in the Champions League, but they're getting the job done.
yeah. Well, they're already through, so it's another one of those things where like
Exactly right.
they're in a tight race in Serie A. It's a perfect opportunity to play some of these backups again. Keep getting them some more playing time, getting more comfortable because they are getting better the more they
Hmm.
play. Run them out there. Go.
Yep, I agree. And I mean Monaco, they're already qualified. They can't drop out. They could get in the top 8, but I mean they're already in regardless. So
Yeah.
I mean I don't think there's any massive
Lazy game.
motivation. Yeah,
Who's
it
Milan
could even
playing?
end in a tie. Milan's is going to be against Dinamo Zagreb. Zagreb is sitting in, let's see, 26th place. So Zagreb absolutely must win. If they win, they have a chance to qualify. Milan is already in. They're in 6th place. They don't need this stuff. If they win or draw, they remain in top 8, which is great for them. But I mean, it doesn't really matter. So
Good chance for Conceição to get Liberali out there, huh?
it would be a wonderful chance for them to start playing some
Yeah.
kiddos. They don't actually need this win. I mean, if they really care about top 8, okay, fine. But they don't really need it. I mean,
This is where priorities come into effect, and this is where you can really see it's like the obsession with Champions League glory is so fucking
which definitely
juvenile.
Milan has it though. Milan they love the Champions League.
All foreign mercenaries do. That's why Juventus plays better in Champions League than they do at home. That's why Milan plays better in Champions League than they do at home. I don't care about it. You're not going to win, or at least not at this stage. You got a bigger fight at home. You got to make sure you're in the game again next year. Okay? Let's if we're already in the show, rest your guys. Get ready for the
Yeah, I
next week
mean,
of Serie A. Let's go.
actually think Milan must do it because their very next match is against Inter.
Oof. Oh yeah,
Like, so they
no, they're
have
gonna rest their guys.
they have
Duconce's not an
the
idiot.
return, yeah, they have the return leg
Yeah.
against Inter. It's on, 1 week out from that, or not even because it's on Sunday. So, in my opinion, I don't really care about top eight, and I think that the backups should be enough to get
Yeah.
a result, at
Absolutely.
least. But I mean, we'll fight hard. It's at home there, but we should at least get a tie.
I agree.
Serie A. So let's
Oh,
go through the
let's do
next
it.
next matches. Parma versus Lecce. I think Parma is gonna take it 2-1.
You do? I think Lecce is. I think Lecce is gonna take it 1-0. I
You
think
think
Parma.
that after the drubbing by Inter, they're gonna
Yeah,
be
I
like, all
think
right,
Parma's been
I'm
a little
back.
soggy lately. Yeah. I'm not liking what I'm seeing out of
All right,
Parma.
so we got a difference there, which is nice. Udinese versus Venezia. I think Udinese cleans it up. Venezia's not good this year. I'm gonna go 2-0 or 3-1 Udinese.
I'm going 1-1. I think
All right.
Udinese is going to struggle with a very feisty Venezia. It's going to be 1-1.
Monza Verona.
I think Mons is going to get a win here, 2-1.
I do too. I think
Yeah,
they're gonna pull it off. Yep,
yeah.
close. I'll go 2-1 as well. Atalanta Torino.
Ooh, this is a good game because Torino's a very good
Yep.
counter to Atalanta, but I think Atalanta's going to edge them out 2-1.
I think it's gonna be 3-2. But yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Bologna versus Como, another super tight game. I think is going to be Como's playing a lot better, and Bologna has been, they'll win some, they look good, and then they stumble all of a sudden. So
These are
pretty
two.
huge game.
These are two teams with two very naive defensive outlooks. I think it's a 3-1 win though for Bologna. I think Bologna is motivated. They're a much better team than
I
Como on their day.
I would have typically picked that, but after seeing the awful performance that they did, and honestly, it was more just a bummer about like watching Bologna just
Yeah,
look terrible. I don't know. It was just very, very weird. Like you see this team and like they'll have a great game in the Champions League, and you're hoping that Serie A does well, and then you see Bologna just lay an egg basically. I mean, they got a goal, but they just didn't look
that's
good.
Italiano, man. He's a good
It's
coach,
it's
but he's
just
not a
weird.
great coach. He can never.
But
Him and Gasperini cannot go to club. They're at exactly where they should be. Exactly.
yeah,
Oh,
saying that, I'm gonna go 2-2. I don't believe that
okay.
Bologna is gonna continue. I go 2-2. Juve Empoli.
Oh man, Juve are gonna win because they just got their first loss of the season. Okay, and that's the first time I predicted Juventus would not win. I predicted a draw, 1-1, right? So
No,
I'm gonna
predicted a lot. You predicted a loss to Milan
wait, no, just for Juve games. So.
when they played.
Oh, I did. You're right. I thought
Yes,
Milan would
yes,
beat them,
yes.
and then we smoked Milan, which was shocking.
It was, it
Um,
was actually.
yeah, shocking game.
I think Juve takes this
Yeah,
one.
I think Juve's gonna win 2-0. I think it's gonna be
Yeah,
they're
two
gonna down to
nothing.
business. They're gonna be mad. They're a young team. They read the papers. They read the papes. We're gonna take
Empoli
2-0.
could squeak in with a late, goal to make it close, to make it like a 2-1 because
Yeah,
Juve
that's what
Juve
Juve
sucks
does.
late in games.
Yeah.
Fiorentina versus Genoa.
Ooh, this is a good,
A
really good game.
stumbling Fiorentina versus a surging Genoa.
What do you think?
This is man.
But Fiorentina just
Ooh,
got on track with a big win. That was a big win. If you're gonna
I
win
know.
one game, that's the team
They
to
don't
beat.
have Oddly, so they're gonna have to run Cataldi plus
That's okay.
Mandragora.
I don't think Adley's that
Yeah,
great.
I don't think they lose as much, but he does distribute the ball quite well.
Mm-hmm.
Man, my gut says a 2-2 tie, but I really want to push for Fiorentina to take it. I'm gonna go 2-2 tie.
I'm gonna say 1-1. Yeah.
I think Genoa
I
is,
think
is feisty enough to cause problems.
Genoa is a very, very tough team, and I think that Fiorentina, although they had a good match against Lazio, I think they're going to stumble again. I just do. I hope not. I hope Palladino rights the ship. I just don't see it just yet. But I say 1-1.
Our biggest match here,
Oh,
Milan Inter,
come on, Milan.
the derby.
2-1 Milan, baby. Come on.
It's
No,
really
probably
weird
three to
because
two.
something that you always see, form goes out the window in derbies. Inter looked amazing last game. Milan looked like ass last game. I think
Don't matter.
I think as long as they've got Pulisic and Reinders and they're playing well, I actually think Milan is gonna sneak away with
Well,
probably like a win, like a 2-1 here.
when Teo and Leao will show up, they'll decide to play this one. This is a big one.
You know it. Yeah, oh, exactly.
Yeah, they
So
actually give a shit
I
about this, man.
think Milan might steal this one 2-1.
I sure hope so.
I could be very wrong, but I have a feeling that they're going to go against form and because it's a derby and they're going to pull it off.
Here's what scares me. Inter on paper is definitely a better team.
Yes.
But Inzaghi, in my opinion, we had a conversation about this off recording. I think he is totally underachieved with that team. I think what he's doing this year, he
But
has an
he normally
opportunity.
has dominated Milan in the past several
Yes,
years, and especially tactically. And I don't think Conceição has great tactics. He's a Grinta guy, so
that's all it takes sometimes, man.
he'll set up his team right, But I mean, yeah, and that's kind of why I think Milan may edge it because
Listen,
they're going to have that extra motivation.
these tactics aren't that complicated, truly. Okay,
They're not,
you can
especially
watch a
Inters are
bunch of
like
YouTube
robots.
videos. Yeah, if you watch YouTube videos, they'll make you think it's really difficult. If you actually watch the game, it's not that complex. You got to mark your guys. You got to win the duels. You got to win your battles. If Milan are
Yep.
doing
And
that,
then when you get the chance, you got to bury like the couple that you get, you got to bury at least one or two of them.
exactly.
That's
Inter
it.
is going to leave gaps. Inter is not defensively organized as you would expect for a team like of that stature. They're not. They will leave. They're susceptible to
In
mistakes.
my opinion, they don't have a good defense. Like I
They
don't
don't.
I don't trust DeVry. I don't. I mean, I think that
I totally agree with you.
what's
Div-
the
Bissek,
the guy's name?
DeVry,
Yeah, I don't
Bissek,
trust
DeVry, and Bissek.
Bissek.
Yeah. No.
Bastoni, I think is quite good, but he's also lax on some of his marking.
I think his marking is very suspect. I don't.
Yeah, so I don't think they have a great
Yeah.
defense. I really
I
don't.
totally agree with you. The strength of Inter is in their midfield. It always has been.
Midfield,
And
wingbacks, and strikers. I mean, honestly, the only
yeah,
weak part of that team is
their
is well
defense.
their depth and their defense.
Yeah. Yep. There. So Milan, I think, have the attacking class to overcome that defense. The issue with Milan is always if they're going to show up to play. If
That's
Milan want to
always
win
the
the
issue with
game,
Milan.
they will win the game.
Yep,
If
yep,
Milan don't, you know, whatever. Oh,
yeah.
90 minutes. Oh, here's two goals.
And I
It's
mean,
it's
if
that
if
easy for them to
Conceição
score.
can't get these guys to play hard for 90 minutes, then I mean,
He
really
can't.
the team is just lost. But
He
we'll see
he
against Inter. We'll see.
he
He
clearly
wasn't able
hasn't.
to in the Supercopa, so
He wasn't able to do it against Juventus.
no.
I mean, Juventus sucks, and he couldn't beat them in a Serie A match. Like, and that was all motivation. That wasn't a tactical
No,
issue at
Juve
all.
wanted it for revenge
Yeah,
after the Supercopa because they looked dumb throwing away like a lead, and it was two pretty lucky goals, but hey, still they looked dumb.
but
So they
they
wanted
lost.
revenge.
They lost to a Juve team on Greenset. And Juve
Yeah,
has lost all our games on that. All our
yeah.
games have been lost because we don't try hard enough. So I want to see what Milan shows up against Inter, and for the Scudetto, I really pray it's this Milan that wants to win because they can beat Inter on their day if they want to. They can beat anybody if they want to.
Yep.
I hope they show
Well,
up this weekend.
moving into the second half of that Scudetto equation, Napoli goes against
Oof,
Roma. It is at Roma, and I just have a weird
such
feeling
a
about this
trap game.
game. Yeah,
Such a
I don't
trap
know
game.
why. Like I've been predicting strong Napoli wins like 2-1s
Yeah.
for a little while now because I'm like, no, they're gonna show up. They're gonna win it, especially against like the big
Mm-hmm.
teams. They're gonna show up. But I just have a bad feeling about this game. I think they're gonna tie it 2-2 or something like that, like
I do
1-1,
too. I have
2-2.
a. No, I think it's 1-1. I think I have a horrible feeling about this too because they've also been getting finally all year they've been getting shit on by pundits and the media. They're
Yeah, I think
finally
it's gonna
getting a
be
little
a
respect.
one-off game here, and then they'll get back on it next week. But I think
Well,
they're
I
gonna
will say
they're gonna tie
this.
this game.
I will say this. I was a little bit nervous last week too because they're playing against a Juve team that's been, kind of a shithole, but they came off a good game against Milan, where they outworked the team finally for the first time all year. And Napoli did what? Just beat their ass. Dick slapped them, outmanned them. So every time you doubt them, they're gonna not. Conte's gonna have them ready to work.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, I don't think many people are doubting them going up against Roma right now.
Buongiorno's back though. Buongiorno's back,
Yeah, but I
and
mean, that
that
could
could
also be a
actually.
trap, dude.
It
First
could.
game,
You're
first
right.
game back.
Against
I,
Dybala and
I
fucking
don't,
Delpik.
I don't love first games back. Like, I just don't love it. Like, I think you got to get them like back into it, against like a smaller team where they're just gonna clean up. Like
I don't
this really
disagree.
is a trap game, man.
I think
Like
it's
you
one
saw what
one.
happened with Cambiaso's first couple games back. Now he's playing good.
Oh,
Now he's fine.
oh no.
But dude,
Apparently,
it wasn't
Cambiaso
the
was the
way.
worst player on the field last week.
I
He
mean,
gave up.
I didn't think he was bad.
He gave up. No, but he gave up the ball that led to like the second goal.
Okay.
and because it went through 5 other people, those didn't matter. But the
Yeah,
yeah,
the initial giveaway. Yeah.
it's our shitty fan base is basically what it is.
But I mean,
But he's
either way
sold.
though, like
He's
my
sold.
point is that
Yeah.
like now that he's got a
Mm.
couple games on, he's playing a lot better, and he's starting the games now. But when
Yeah,
Jordan
yeah.
McLean back, I don't know if he's gonna sub or start.
It
See.
takes a while to come back from injury, and the guy had a fucking what, a spine injury. Come on, we gotta give him a little bit of break. But yeah, no, I think it's
So
a
we're both
trap
going
game.
tie here.
Try
Okay.
one way. I think it's a trap game all the way.
Last game of the that round will be Lazio Cagliari. I think Lazio is gonna pull it
Yeah,
off. I don't know.
yeah.
I don't have the biggest faith in them, but I'm gonna go three to
No,
one. Actually, I'm gonna go a
yeah,
little
same.
bit of a semi statement. It is away from home though.
Same exact score line, 3-1. Lazio's
Could
gonna
be
be
2-1.
pissed. Lazio's a
Could
very
be 2-1.
emotional team. 3-1. Lazio's gonna be like, we're coming back. 3-1 against this shit team.
All right.
And then they're gonna
Well,
bench Ravella next week for some reason.
yeah, right. All right. It is over. That's it. That's all I
Oh,
got. We will
that's
be
all I
back.
got.
Back okay, probably with the Champions League review. We got the Milan player ratings will be coming up.
Gotta do the
Already got
Milan
that one
one.
made, so we'll do that one probably tomorrow night. So,
Yeah, sounds good.
alrighty. Take
Good
care,
shit,
everyone,
bro.
and as always, Forza Calcio.
Ciao.